This is the Garrity Mandolin that's listed for sale on the Mandolin Cafe classifieds right now. This mandolin is styled after a Monteleone Grand Artist mandolin. The major difference between the Grand Artist style and this particular one, as you can tell on this mandolin, it doesn't have the third point down here at the bottom. There's an article that I'm linking to in the classified section that'll tell you a little more about John Garrity and sort of what he was doing. He was doing some interesting stuff. He was mainly making copies of the Grand Artist, the Monteleone Grand Artist style. But he was doing some other cool stuff too, and one of the things that he was doing is he developed a system to tune the tops on his mandolins. Before he glued them on, he had a jig built, and he would tune the top and string it up on the jig and mess around with it and see if it needed to be voiced any further before he would glue it to the mandolin top. I don't think he's building anymore, according to some sources at the Cafe Classifieds. He just sort of stopped building a few years ago. This particular mandolin has a spruce top. I don't know what kind of spruce. It's tight grain. It's a good looking piece of spruce. There is one, you can probably see right here, one little blemish in the wood itself, sort of where the grain gets kind of wavy right here on the mandolin. The back is a two-piece curly maple back, a lot of figure in it. Sides as well. Neck has a lot of figure. Rosewood veneer on the front. Rosewood veneer on the back of the neck. Fretboard is actually rosewood too. Bridge is ebony. Binding rosewood. The heel cap on the back here is rosewood as well. Pickguard and the tailpiece, these were both built by me and added to the mandolin. The pickguard is a rosewood pickguard, and I actually got some photographs of a Monteleone Grand Artist mandolin and traced it out to make it look as close to the real thing as possible. The tailpiece is a floating tailpiece system, similar to what you would see on a violin. A lot of the Monteleone mandolins now feature a floating tailpiece system, and you know, to my ears it does a few different things. It adds a little more volume, definitely more sustain, and tone-wise, I think it does make it give it a little fuller tone, a little fatter sound. But more importantly, I think it opens it up to a wider range of tones that you can get out of the mandolin, and to me that's more useful than anything. This mandolin has really opened up since I put this tailpiece on here, and probably overall it's my best mandolin that I have right now. This particular one doesn't have any markings anywhere on it, nothing on the headstock, no label on the inside of it, but this is fully consistent with a Garrity mandolin. He was building these Monteleone copies. The gentleman I bought it from, I can't even remember what state he was in. He bought it from a gentleman who had bought it from Garrity himself, and according to him, this was Garrity's personal mandolin that he, I guess, played, which may explain why he didn't go through the trouble of putting a label in it or anything on the headstock. Tuners are gold tuners of an unknown brand. They're good quality. I don't know what kind they are. They may be Scholars. They're the reverse style tuners, so the gear is below the shaft there, which is like what was on some of the old vintage Gibsons. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit about just some of the different kind of sounds that you can get out of this. I'd characterize this as a pretty versatile mandolin. You can get a pretty wide range of sounds out of it. I've actually recorded all this once already. And even standing across the room here, the mic was just constantly clipping. So this does have a lot of volume to it. It's a pretty loud mandolin. So let's do it all again here. As far as chop goes, if you're into the sort of Adam Steffi or Sam Bush percussive type chop, you know, like almost like a snare drum type sound, you can definitely get it out of here. If you're into more of like the open string chop, it's got a lot of volume like that. If you have your ear up next to it, it's so loud it almost hurts a little bit. You can sort of feel it smacking you in the eardrum. Tone-wise, like I said, it's pretty versatile. If you're into sort of like the bluegrass tone, you can definitely get that stringy. More of the, I call it a more tinny type sound. If you're into more of the a modern type sound, like the sort of Adam Steffi type, real mid-rangey, real full sound, almost guitar-like tones. It's got that. In fact, the mid-range on this mandolin is just incredible. It's better than any mandolin I've ever owned in that aspect. Just that, just playing that note, you can feel it just sort of smacking you in the eardrums. Of course, a lot of that is right-hand technique, and that's what I talk about on this. When I talk about this tailpiece, it opens it up so you can get a wider range of sounds. I don't expect you to just play it and get a certain sound out of it. I mean, you've got to work on it, but what you can get out of it is expanded, I think, by the tailpiece. Another thing, I've always heard about jazz mandolin players. There's one player in particular whose name escapes me, but I've heard people mention he plays almost around the 13th fret with his pick, and I've always tried to do that to get that sort of sound out of it, and I've never been able to do it on any mandolin that I've had, including this one when it had the cast tailpiece on it before. With the floating tailpiece on it, you get some really cool sounds, some real thick sounds that are probably really good for jazz type stuff. Get some, I don't know how much this mic is picking it up, but you get some crazy overtones and stuff too that sound really cool.